Okay, you can hear that. Hold on, my microphone is not working. Apparently it doesn't like that plug. Let me unplug something. That's the camera. That's that. What is this? Actually, turn the lights on. Oh, Clossi technical difficulties. Turn that on. Turn that on. And upload this one there. And this to right here. Let's see if that fixes the microphone. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah. It's much better when I actually use a microphone. Abe, you asked if I will record Dawn level Clossi Approach. Probably not, because the Clossi Approach is mostly about showing you like the proper way to use the basics. And I'm only like a mid Dawn, so I could show you like what I do as a Dawn player, but a pro will probably come along and say that's not the right things to do at Dawn level. So I'm actually not sure like the Clossi Approach is like what you need to get from this level to the next level. So what this level needs to learn. I don't know what Dawn players need to learn yet because I'm still learning it. So I can't really do a Clossi Approach at Dawn. I can do what I do at Dawn, but like I don't know what I'm supposed to learn at Dawn. I mean, I kind of have an idea, obviously. Like I'm working on fighting and stuff, and a lot of reading stuff, like a ton of reading stuff. But other than that, like I can't really do like a lecture of what do you need to learn at Dawn level, because I'm trying to learn at Dawn level. So it would just be like a let's play kind of thing. Um, so yeah. Do we have any 15Q to 10Qs in chat? Because that is where we are at today. It's 10Q to 15Q. 10Q, sometimes 9Q. Okay. We will use you as a backup, Holland. Because technically I want single digit Q after I get done with this portion. But maybe we can do Holland. Maybe we can do Holland. Okay. Because 10Q, 9Q should technically know what this section has. Should. It's a strong word. Either that or you're really good at something and really bad at something. I don't know. And then you average out at like 9Q. If no one else volunteers though, then we'll go with you, Holland. What's your username on OGS? Holland underscore 85? No, it's not underscore 85. There's a Holland that's a 10Q. A Holland X19R that's a 10Q. A Helenium that's a 10Q. A Helenami that's a 10Q. Is it just straight Holland? Helenium. Okay. 10Q. That should be okay. You should play more games. Oh my gosh. Let me select the graph thingy. There we go. Two ranked games, one ranked game, 11 ranked games. Yeah. You started off strong, 91 ranked games in May of 2018. 56 ranked games, 51, 70. Yeah, those are some killer numbers. Like, those are pro numbers right there. Oh, you have a tutorial series. Oh, I was like, I know him. This isn't you. You're not John, are you? You're not Jonathan Hop, are you? Oh, just your links. Oh. I was about to like subscribe to your YouTube channel. Yeah, I was like, I know Jonathan Hop. That's not you, right? Gotcha. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, I was about to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Okay, so let's look at the games. 12Q, two and a half. Probably should be about the right level. Yeah, this should work. This should work. Yeah, if you're down to play, we can play. I just closed it. Why did I close it? Challenge. Clossi Approach series, 10 minutes. Random. Yeah, we can play. Oh, Abe is also 10Q. I think Holland volunteered first. Cause well, if you were like 14 or 13Q, it'd be better. But if you're both 10Q, then Holland technically asked first. Um, I don't really care, Holland. It might be better if you mute it, but just that way, like you don't hear my strategy. But I don't really care. As long as you just show me your level. Don't just use like an AI. As long as you don't use like an AI or something, for the lesson, it should be fine. Yeah, just don't sandbag me while I'm trying to make like a tutorial series.
Game started.
All right, we are going to pause game
Paused.
and restart the recording. Hello everyone. We are back with another Clossi Approach series video, and we are still in the 15Q to 10Q range, and we have a volunteer, Helonium. Helonium? I'm not sure if that's an actual element or something, or if I'm just, I'm just mispronouncing it completely, but thank you for volunteering. They are a 10Q going on 9Q, and we will try to see like what is preventing them from going to single digit Q, and let's see if we can use our double digit Q basics to beat someone who's almost single digit Q, and let's just see what happens. Again, to reiterate, we are working on single purpose moves and being very good at them with some very simple Josekis. Defense first, then offense, then a big move, and defense and offense is bases, escape routes, watch the connections and cutting points. Other than that, we're simply going to try to play single purpose and see if we can get to single digit Q. So let's go ahead and resume.
Game resumed.
And have a good game. So I'm actually going to go, I don't know if I've been playing openings yet, so I'll play the Chinese opening. I don't know if that'll be good or not, but I will play the Chinese opening, and let's just see how it goes. And let's see how our Clossi approach works with the Chinese opening. All right, so he approached. So direction to play is to play here. And this is fine. Because we're supposed to pincer into the open side, direction to play. Maybe not the perfect thing to do for the Chinese opening. Okay, so now we have two options. We can cut, or we can do this one. And this is one thing, I was actually teaching my wife this earlier today. When you have this one, it's normally this one. But when you have an extra stone right here, it's nice to play this one to have the combination. And I think that's pretty cool. So that's a good way to choose the difference between the two. Always 3-3 is not in the Clossi approach. It's mostly 3-3 can be considered as big as an open side if you want. That's with the AI theory. So this one I'm just going to surround. Normally it's that one, but it's okay. I'm debating between here and here. I think I'm going to go here. This one is Joseki, but I was showing this to my wife earlier, and she played here, and I actually really liked it because it's only one cutting point to deal with instead of two. This one is clearly better, but for this level, it might be easier to play this one because then you only have to deal with one cutting point. I'm actually not sure. And it's fun to experiment with these things, and I want to encourage you to experiment and learn. Don't feel rigid like you have to play the pro move. It's good to understand why is the pro move the pro move. And I thought this was a good thing. So this one is just better, I think, most of the time, because it's just I haven't researched it. Can't tell you exactly why, but I think this one only has one cutting point, so it might be fun to play. 11Q EGF and 7Q on OGS. So 7Q on OGS, we are going by OGS ranks, not by the EGF ranks, simply to be consistent with our series. EGF, if you're EGF 11Q but 7Q on OGS, we would take the OGS rank because we are trying to be consistent. Okay, so he approached. In this case, we can do a corner enclosure, and this also makes our base. So this one, the response is here. We don't really want to think about pincer because making a Shamari is one, really big, and two, it makes our base. We could consider it if you went here. It's not really that bad, but you're supposed to approach on the Shamari, so we're just going to make our points. And we'll go high because we have support on both sides. We'll go high. I could have pincered there. It would have been a little bit more complicated, but also very reasonable for our Clossi approach. Okay, so now the open side is going to be the left, so I can approach or play a wedge. I think a lot of players at this level will be more comfortable with the wedge. I think the approach is more active. So I like the approach, but I'm going to go ahead and just wedge because I think it's more common and it's not bad. It's just maybe old-fashioned. I say old-fashioned, but like maybe in 10 years, this is like the new meta or something. You never know. You never know. I love actually going through and seeing the different Joseki choices and shape choices from like hundreds of years ago up to like the current. I was actually having a lot of fun trying out different shapes and patterns with my wife earlier. We were at Panera Bread and playing games, and I was playing different patterns from like 20, 30 years ago versus modern patterns and stuff. Turns out, and then we're going to make our base for defense. Turns out, I think the modern patterns are actually really hard to use as a double-digit Q. So I'd actually go for like several decades ago and use those patterns. They're just easier to use. And then we have a stone on both sides, so we're going to jump. We could actually ignore a little bit because this is 2 spaces away instead of 1 space. So we actually have this move. So we could ignore if we really want to. I could just go down here or 3-3. I'm actually not sure if I want to do that or not. Because when you have a stone on both sides, you are supposed to jump. But when you have a gap, then you want to think, can I Tanuki? Can I Tanuki? Like you want to think about that a lot as a double-digit Q. Can I Tanuki? Can I Tanuki? And Tanuki means to play away from the local situation. So can I ignore this? Can I ignore this? And I kind of can, but I'm not sure if that's basic or not. Because I technically don't have as much pressure. But let's pretend I play the 3-3. I think that will actually make him strong enough that I might lose my move. So I'm going to go ahead and defend so I don't lose that. But to counter that, I could just not play the 3-3. I could just invade right here and just say the 3-3 will damage my position. So I could make that argument as well. There's a lot of interesting ideas you can do. So I'll probably just go ahead and respond. It might be a little bit slow, but it's okay. I like being safe, especially in the series. I like being safe. And it's not like we don't have a position. Like even though Y has a position, we also have a position. And because we're starting to think about combinations going into single digit Q, we can start to think about combinations. So it's not the biggest of issues. So he jumped, so I can play one more move, but I think I've already like responded once. He's technically really far away. So if he capped right here, I actually have that's actually like, what is that, an extra large knight's move? So it's actually really far away. If he wanted to keep the pressure, I would expect a 4th line, not a 3rd line. So this is already a little bit light for an attack. plus I have the gap here. So I think I'm good to ignore. I think that's not enough pressure. So I've responded. And if you're worried about this peep, I actually can talk about that. Like the peep is actually, you can just connect right here and then squeeze those stones to surround. We can talk about that in the review though. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here. Technically, either one should be fine for this level, but as I mentioned earlier, that one technically makes this stone stronger, and that might hurt me a little bit. Not anything I couldn't handle, but why hurt yourself if you know that exists? Like, why not just do something else? Kick, Nobi, and like almost instant response. Not always, never instant respond, but do that. Okay, so he took the base. Run away! Run away! Run away! Very easy. And if you don't, you'll have a bad day. Okay, and I'm out in the center. I am not even close to the line of influence. He peeps. Just connect. Easy peasy. Don't get cut. Just connect. These peeps are really good for me. I don't really mind connecting. Okay, I am not even close to the line of influence of whites anymore, so I am very out, so I'm okay. He could potentially cap me, so I could potentially just play one more. I'll just do it. Why not? One more, just for good measure. That way he can't really cap, because I would have 3. Because I'm kind of close. I'm not really that close. I could probably ignore. But I'm kind of close to that line, I guess. So maybe a cap is going to be enough. Okay, so he's playing here. So I'm going to just push. Or I could also slide. I'm just going to help this group, right? He played another stone against this group. I'm just going to help it. I'm just going to block. Why not? Okay, I'm pretty fine here. Pretty fine here. So, big move. Largest framework is mine. So, jump. Just build it up. Should be easy peasy. Thank you for the follow. Mutton Knittin' Knittin'. I don't know why, but I really wanted to say kitten in the middle of your name, and it actually bugged me a little that there was no K in there. Okay, and I'm just building the large framework. Okay, watch my cutting point. Okay, he's reducing, so I'm going to block, and I'm going to jump ahead. Why do I know this? Because I always think that pushing from behind is usually slow, so that's the last one I want to do. So the first one I consider is the jump, and I check the cutting points. I only have 1. If I had 2, then I would play a knight's move. But because I only have 1, because of the tiger's mouth, I can play here. Perfectly fine. Because you want to jump ahead as soon as you can. Jump ahead to get ahead. You don't want to push from behind, and you want to do it with only 1 cutting point or less, if you can. If the cuts don't work, then that's fine if you can read it. Heck, I can jump 2 if the cuts don't work. But basics-wise, you just want 1 cutting point. All right, so I need to keep an eye on this because now that line is starting to become that line. Not quite yet. So as long as I make it 2 directions, it should be fine. But just keep an eye on that. That's one thing, one pitfall is you might lose track of a group. Just make sure you don't get like behind enemy lines. All right, so he's building this area, but mine's bigger. So how do I want to build this? So I can turn right here, I can jump right here, or maybe even cap. I could try to reduce while building. That's also an option. We're getting close to Yosei too. Are we in Yosei? See, a centrist quadrant is that big. So using our basics, are we in Yosei? Maybe yes. Maybe. So let's just do second line Sentai. Okay. Let's start here. Because this one's like really big. It's like bugging me how big it is. It's really big. There is that ko there. But I'm probably not going to worry about it. Oh, No, fudge. Fudge. Nah, no. We're not gonna kill him. We're not gonna kill him. We're not gonna kill him. Just push. Push. And push. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Push. Doot. Second line Sente, second line Sente, second line Sente is great. Second line Sente, second line Sente, it is great. It's like Frosted Flakes. It's great. Is this one Sente? Yes. Because I can do that. It is Sente. Okay. So we did that. Now push the borders in Sente. Oh, wait. Oh, we have one more here. Okay. Push. Push. Just doing all of our Sente. Doing all of our Sente. Oh, I still have this one. This one's Gote because the cutting point, but I still have this one too. Oh, and I have this one. Oh my gosh, I'm just blind. That's fine. Just keep pushing. Actually, I gotta watch my liberties. Yep. Cutting points. Cutting points. Just, that's fine. Don't care. Yep. Boom. Boom. I don't know if these are Sente. They are now. I think, this is a problem.
Undo requested.
Accepted.
Undo granted.
That's fine. Because technically speaking, everyone at this level would respawn there, even though it's wrong. You should respawn here because bamboo joints better and peeps this area. But maybe that's too powerful. Because I know, like, obviously it's our fundamentals to not do this. So this is clearly just better. Like, just looking at it, you can just see it's better. But no one does it because I don't know why. Everyone rushes and plays the instant response. Okay, next is going to be push the borders in Sente. Push the borders in Sente. That's Gote. That has 2 cuts, so... this is clearly better, but I don't know. I'm playing too perfectly. Push the borders in Sente. Okay. Maybe my move was too Gote. That's what I get for holding back a little bit. Now my move's Gote. Okay, cool. Push the border. Push the border. All right, and I don't know if I have a good shape Sente over there. So I'm just gonna play a big Gote now. I got on my Sente, so I'm gonna play big Gote. So like right here, big Gote, and that is our end game. Okay, and we can block with the tiger's mouth. We push, check the cut, and it goes nowhere. We're good. Always check your cutting points. Always check your cutting points. And he's pushing me, so I can respond. I am playing it really fast because I kind of know the response, but you should not be playing this fast. You should be taking your time. Boop. And here's a cool trick. I actually explained this to my students in the last couple weeks. So let's say my response is here. I know what the response is, okay? So now I have another 20 seconds, and let's assume I'm in overtime, which I'm not. But let's say I have another 20 seconds in my overtime. I know the responses, so let's use that 20 seconds and let's find all the moves. Like find the next thing to do. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just let it run out. So the Hane here doesn't work because of the cutting point. So I have a peep and then maybe a Nobi. Then he blocks. I have to watch my cutting points though. I have a Hane, and I'm just listening. I don't have to watch it. I'm just listening. I have an Atari. I can push, push. Let's see, another shape over here. Maybe like just a 2-space jump, because I think that's okay. I could just 1-space jump if I want to be really, really safe. I have a push right here as well. So this looks like a very interesting area.
8,
So yeah, that's
6,
pretty good.
5.
So I'll block. And just, get more information. Get more information. Okay. Where do I want to play? Let's push. All right, so I have that. So let's take my time. So I'm over here, like, peep, can I be cut? Boop, boop, boop. Probably not. Is there Aji? Yeah, there's Aji. But probably I'm okay. If I'm worried about it, let's just go here. That's easy.
9, 8,
Okay, I'll push
7.
now. Okay, so you know that habit. Think. You can be thinking. So here's the next move. You can think again, but it's fine. So I'm going to start going back to playing faster now. But that's the habit you want to build while you're playing. Take your time. Use it. You have an infinite amount of 30 seconds. Use that time. And if you're not sure if you want to read, another tip is you shouldn't be trying to figure out the goal of the turn for 30 seconds. You should figure out the goal within 5 seconds. And then the rest of the turn is spent reading what's the best way to do that goal. So if you're not sure of like what move to play, like I found my move pretty instantaneous, but if you're not sure where you should be playing, think about what is the goal of the turn, identify that in like 5 seconds, and then give yourself options and read which of the ones respond the best. Even the obvious moves, like he turned right here, almost everyone would play this move at this level. But if you're slowing down, you're thinking, okay, what are my options? Well, I have
10,
here.
9, 8,
That's another option,
7,
right?
6.
So you can find those extra points, and you can improve your game potentially 5 to 10 points with just those taking your time to play those extra options. You can get like 1 point here, 2 points here. But playing really fast and instant responses, it really hurts you. And we'll talk a lot about this in the single digit Q range. I'm noticing between like 7Q to like 3Q, those instant responses are losing like 20 points every single game. We'll talk more about that at single digit Q, but taking your time, just build that habit to take your time, I think is really useful. Okay, we'll just block. This is basic, so we can do this. Hello, Fasifu. Oops. Whoops, we got him. Okay, we're going to connect. Okay, and we're gonna cut. All right. So I'm gonna block right here so I can activate that Yosei. So just a big Gote move. That's where I'm at. Big Gote move. Doesn't have to be like ginormous. Just something of good value. I also have this move. This move, yeah. So I get my Sentei. It's really nice. Alright, so I have like 4 points there. Let's do that. Sentei's nice. Okay, so I think big Gote again. It's technically this one's Sentei now, I think. Because it allows me to do this move. I think.
10,
But it's okay.
9.
How do you deal with Koz after you've spent all of your Sentei? Like, you mean Sentei Yosei? Because if I'm fighting co-threats, I have a co-threat like right here. That's not something I would ever spend outside of co-threat. I have co-threats like right here and right here. So there's a difference between like Sente Yosei and Sente Kothret, if that makes sense. So I haven't spent all of my Sente. But also, if you have no Sente moves on the board, maybe you shouldn't be fighting a Ko to let the Ko happen. Or if it does, hopefully it's just a point or two, and you just lose it. I mean, if you don't have enough Ko threats, there is a thing like I've only done this once in the 14 years I've been playing. I've only ever done this once. I mean, I've kind of roughly done it several times, but I've only actually really done it once. When you have the option to start a Ko in the middle game, technically what you're supposed to do is count all the Ko threats and say who's going to win the Ko. Like at the higher levels, right? Like arguably, before you even start the Ko, you think who's going to win the Ko.
4.
And I've only ever technically done that once. And I won that game. And I was very happy that I won that game. I felt very proud of myself. Because I was able to destroy his whole area. Because I'm like, oh, there's a Ko but for my death in his area. But if I win the Ko, he loses the whole area. Let's count the Ko threats. I had enough Ko threats. I'm like, oh, awesome. I can just live in there because he can't kill me. I have more Ko threats. And it was that knowledge gave me the confidence to just go in there. And I was right. He actually was like, he actually let me live like 2 or 3 Ko threats before the end of the Ko. So he didn't even find the amount of Ko threats that I found. And I was very, very happy with myself. So technically that's how you're supposed to deal with Kos. However, until you can learn to count Ko threats, basically you need to think about what type of Ko is it. Is it a Yosei Ko? I have Ko threats, like all kinds of Ko threats. But is it like a game-losing Ko? Well, those probably shouldn't happen in the first place unexpectedly. And if you have a Ko for your death, and you don't have enough Ko threats, then you probably shouldn't have let it happen in the first place. But if it does happen, then, just do your best. Just do your best. And maybe aim for 2 moves in a row. I smell Goose to Sujis. Maybe not. Just fix it. It's fine. Don't think too much. Don't think too much. Now, this one's better, but do I need eyes? Okay. Tari, there, Hane. Nope, I am absolutely fine on eyes, so I'm going to connect because less Ko threats. All right. He did that, so he was actually a little bit scared of it. Looks like we're in Dame. Nope, there's a point. No, there's not. There's not. Okay, so we are in Dame. Okay, so important Dame first. Where can I accidentally die? Nowhere.
9.
He can accidentally die right here, so let's do the Dame that looks scary first. And we're going to watch our liberties. We are going to watch our liberties. Watch out for Goose Tsujis. But do the Dame that looks scary first. And if I had to fix anything, I would just go ahead and fix it. Because be wary of Goose Tsujis and Dame.
Pass.
All right, we can pass 2. I mean, it's fine. I know where the Dame is, and I know it's fine. Because we're using Japanese rules.
Remove the dead
But in real life, you would fill it. Accept.
You have won.
All right, and I win by 19.5, so close game. Close game. And the reason I say close, you might say 19.5, that's so much. No, it's not. Like, we're at 10Q. One mistake can lose us 20 points, okay? So, less than 25 points. I think actually, it might be 35 points or less. Yeah, I think it's 35 points or less at double-digit Q is considered a close game that could have gone either way. So close means it could have gone either way, right? One mistake could have changed the game. I say one. The mistakes could have changed the game. But 35 points at double-digit Q is close, okay? From 9Q to 5Q, I would say 25 points is close. And then from 5Q to like 1 Dan, probably like 15 points is close. And the reason I say that, I really want you to understand that you need to consider close games a win. It means you played really well. Okay, so 19 points at a 10Q level, that is a good game. It was a hard fought game. It could have gone either way, right? That's a good game. So if it was 35 points, that's a good game. More than 35 points, okay, now we're getting into like we made too many mistakes. We should review and figure out why was I losing by more than 35. And if it's resignation, like let's say a group died, that doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the game was bad. It just means your life and death or attack and defense was bad. And you're like, okay, I should fix that. Because like step 1 in the Clossi approach, stop dying. Dying is like instant losses. Yeah, no, you actually played really well. I actually think 19.5 points is close. And if you look at the AI graph, right here, the game is up by white has a half a point lead right here. And then my Yosei, I gained like 20 points in Yosei. But it was actually an even game for the entire game. So that's actually really, really nice. So it was a really good game.
Challenge received.
So yeah, let's go ahead and review. And I want to stress like even like if you lose, it can still be a really good game for you, like a really good performance. Okay, so let's go ahead and review. I did the Chinese opening. I did pincer. I think that's Clossi Approach, but technically I think it's here is the Chinese opening. And there's all kinds of other stuff, which we won't get into right now. So I went here, and this is actually a mistake. Okay, so let's talk about why. So first off, what is our first instinct? Well, our first instinct is can we ignore, right? Can we ignore? Boom, 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 boom. No, absolutely not. There's cutting points. Okay, so let's fix the cutting points. Cool. That is our basic response. Okay, so that should be your first instinct. However, with study, we can say, oh, let's make it a little bit better. And actually, the better move is here, not here. The reason is when I block right here, it actually activates this move. That's a lot of Aji. That's an annoying problem. Whereas if you go here, and then we play like, you still have a monkey jump without that peep. And it still fixes the cut. So it's just the best way to fix the cut that's most active. And that's all it is. But you had the right idea. This is definitely the right idea. But this almost killed you at the end of the game. I went here. The Joseiki's technically supposed to be like right here. I went here, which I think actually works better because of the diagonal. Because this is like technically the first instinct you should have. And you need to think about like, why do you not play it? Rather than like, oh, but the pros play this one. So I'm just going to play this one. No, you need to understand why the pros play that one. And that's when you play it. If you say, okay, what is my goal here? Why not make a base? Right? Why are you not making a base? Well, because I can just connect. Okay, that's a good reason. Now you understand why. But if you don't understand what you're doing and you're just playing it, this move, what value does it have if you don't know what it does? If you don't know that it connects? Like, what is the value? Oh, it builds my Moyo. Well, guess what? So does this. And guess what? Building a Moyo is not the open side. It's smaller than the open side. So if you're just building a Moyo, well, the open side's bigger, right? Understand why. It's very important when you're studying Joseki. All right, so this one is actually a bit of a mistake because this is really big. So you want to go here. If you wanted to play on the bottom, the old pattern is to play this one because it's light. And if I pincer you, you can now play here. And you have a nice flexible combination. This is complex though, so I don't recommend it for 10Q. However, this is the move. And if white responds here, you go here. So, with that in mind, a simpler response would be to, oh, not that one. A simpler response would be to play this one. And then if white plays a big move, now you can play here and make that same shape, or even approach. And then if white plays here, well, it's not that big of a deal. Now you just go for an open side. So this one I think is easier if you wanted to approach from this side. Normally we would go low, but high is better here because we're looking at Moyo and we're looking at potentially approaching in later. So high supports the approach. So if you're just looking at extension, of course low is better. But when you look at threatening the approach of Shimari, either do it directly or threaten to support it and then play big move. That's the idea. But I wouldn't approach from this side simply because This is really solid and really strong. And now when you make your base, it's very easy for me to attack you. Yeah, that's why the Chinese is nice, because this looks so scary. But it's actually not that big of a deal if you study it, right? Of course, it's a big deal. Like, if you don't study it, you're going to get punished pretty hard. But if you study it, the variation's actually just here. And white's alive. You can just do that. If you study it, actually, black might just go here. If you study it, it's easy. But if you don't study it, yeah, it's very intimidating. You have to live without knowing what to do. Yes, it's intimidating. But that's also why we study openings in the first place. So yeah, you don't have to go in there. I mean, if you don't know it, you don't know it. You can just play a big move. It doesn't, like, you can just play right here. You don't have to go in there until later. But eventually, like, if your opponent makes it big enough, you have to go in. And then you can just go here and try to make life. It won't be, like, the greatest for you, because you're not going to be able to come up with something better than the pros do. But it's still going to be possible for you. It's not like you can't handle it. It's just going to be a little good for black. Which is, it's supposed to be. Black has, like, all these stones on one side of the board. This side of the board is supposed to go in black's favor. So we get like that and like that. This side of the board is supposed to go in black's favor. So we can go here. And you just play defense tactics at that point. So it's not impossible. It's just studying it is going to give you better results. So this one is unfortunately too close to thickness, and I would go low, simply because you need your base. It's kind of important. If you go high, I can still invade, and if you try to pincer me, I can just slide and steal your base, and now you're actually a weak group. So it's actually not easy to attack this stone. You have to, like in the game you kicked, and then I still had a base, so like after jump, like it's so hard to get ahead of me when I have so many options. So it's pretty easy invasion point. So just go low. And then here, unsettle, run, live. Like, you're not going to get the bottom, but at least your opponent doesn't get a lot of profit from attacking you. And the reason it's so easy for black to play on the bottom is because you're so close to thickness. That's why this one's not recommended. Okay, so I played a big move. If you're gonna go here, I would normally go here. It's either max pressure or least pressure. Okay, this one is better than this one, because this one black can immediately make life. This is a Joseki. Black can instantly live. Okay, but if it's a knight's move, now it's a ko. And that's, of course, this is, of course, not as good for black as instant life. Now, you're worried about this one being too far. I mean, yes, if you're trying to make a base, it's too far. But if you're not trying to make a base, then why is this too far, but this one's not? Right? Imagine an extension, like just the basic extension. Why is this far okay, but a 3 space is not? Right? So if you're not looking at a base, if it's not a base, then it's not that big of a deal. All you're doing is establishing control of the area. So if you're establishing control and putting pressure, you want to put the max pressure. If you want the corner, take the corner. But this one does not take the corner because it's still invadable, and it puts a light pressure on black. So it's a little bit easier for black to play here. It's a little bit more flexible. So this one's kind of an in-between that doesn't really do either one. Either max pressure, which I think most people would do is max pressure, or fix the corner with a little bit of pressure. And that's the idea. But this one I can still technically invade. All right. This is fine. But because you're so far away, I actually don't have to play here. Because if you try to attack me, I can have this slide because your stone's not right here. And you can see that's like another eye already. Plus Tiger's Mouth. The shape here is really good for black. So it's really easy for black to live. I was considering ignoring right here because I have this move. I was considering just ignoring. I was talking about how making this stone stronger potentially loses me this. Technically I still have it, but now I don't have all the forcing moves. Now white doesn't have to block or anything, and I have nowhere to go right here. So it's making this stone stronger potentially makes my group weaker. And because I wanted to ignore it, I don't want to do that. That's a little high level concept. So if you don't understand that, don't worry about it. It's not that important. If you wanted to defend this one, just defend it. It's fine. But I was leaving it as A, B, Mii for black. So I was fine with it. That's why I ignored. But if you're uncertain, just defend. It's fine. You can learn it like at single digit Q. All we worry about now is not dying and getting big moves, and then we can get to single digit Q. At single digit Q, we'll start reading more. Okay, so here I just approached a 4th line stone. That's our basics. Kick, Nobi, that's our basics. Take the base, I'm just running away. Okay, that's all I'm doing is running away. Peeps are bad because they make me very, very strong. Imagine you wanted to invade this later. Imagine like later this becomes a big move and you have Aji right here. You would like to have that Aji. But instead, you made this position even more solid, so the Aji is less, and all you got for it is like 1 point. So it's really small. I would say this is the part where I start feeling like I'm going to take control of the game, because you're not playing on the big framework. So this is a bit slow. Now, I went ahead and played a slow move as well, and this was because we were talking about the line of influence. And that was right here. So I was like, okay, maybe a cap puts me behind that line. So I'll defend 1 more. And if you want to do that, you can. If you can read and fight well, you don't have to. But if you're just focusing on our basics, you can defend that, and it's not that big of a deal. And now I'm nowhere near the line. I also forgot to talk about over here. Okay, so what to do if we ignore blah 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 and our opponent plays like right here. Okay, there's 2 responses here, like that, or like that, so we can connect. But I think the one I want you guys to remember is this one. This one's the more important one. So if we do this and our opponent tries to cut, then we potentially have a ladder, and even if we didn't, we have a net like that. Our opponent might try to get some cutting points, but you can see eventually you're going to get squeezed, and now you have to fix. And you can see that black has a lot of squeeze plays. So white might try to do this. Okay. Now we have the option of connecting or pushing, and you can see that we can actually bully these stones quite a lot. You're going to cut me? Because that's a whole purpose, right? You were trying to cut me. Well, now I can Nobi, because I have all kinds of forcing moves here. So you have to save it. And now I can push and bully my way out. And yeah, I might lose the cutting stones, but I used the lack of liberties on these 3 stones to bully my way out and get shape. I might even take Sente here. Maybe I'm alive. Might even take Sente. Or maybe I control the center. Maybe I want to start a fight. So you have a lot of ways to handle this. Hello, Bustle. So just remember this one. And then remember that this stone isn't really that important. What's important is all the bullying you can do to these 2 stones to help yourself. As long as you remember that, this shape's okay. If you're not sure, if you can't handle it, then you should come back and fix before you ignore. Like, just fix. If you can't handle that peep, just fix. Okay. Moving right along. So I played a big move. Perfectly fine. White tried to reduce on the line of influence, perfectly fine. And I'm just blocking. Again, don't push from behind. And yes, Knight's move is more common, but don't just neglect the 1-point jump just because it doesn't work most of the time. This time, there's a tiger's mouth. So it works. But you don't just never consider it. Just because it, like 90% of the time it doesn't work doesn't mean you ignore it or don't consider it. You just say most of the time it has 2 cutting points. But in this case, it doesn't. So this is, of course, better. Understanding why it's not played. Okay, so here, this is a big blunder. Because I think I can potentially kill your corner. Boop, 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 boop. Doot, doot. Maybe here. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, doot, doot. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe I can't kill it. That's a huge Sente reduction. What if I play there? And then maybe double honey. He connects, you should be dead. You have that move, technically. So on the inside, there we go. No, fudge. Okay, maybe you're not dead, but it's really, really, really dangerous. Also, this move might be Sente, which gives me this move. There's a ton of problems right here. Like a lot of Aji. I just need to be creative enough to use it, right? So I knew like there's probably a lot of problems with white right here, but I'm like, nope, just fix it, yeah. So definitely fix. Definitely fix. There's a lot, like that peep is so dangerous. You have no idea how dangerous this peep is. I'm really curious why I can't kill this. Ooh, what about here, 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 here? Co. There, there. So, no. No. That's a bad co. So it looks like you can just live. I'm really shocked that I can't kill this. I don't know. Maybe someone in the comments will yell at me saying I'm missing something obvious. Oh well. Either way, it's very, very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Yeah, so imagine the stone's right here. Now when I play here, you play here, I don't have this connection back. I can't just connect. So here I can connect back like this. And that usually kills things. I guess not in this case. But that usually kills things. Oh. What if I go here? And then play that. Ah, dang it. Right here. No, that's a 1,000-year co. 1,000-year co. Ah, but that's a Seki. Yeah, that's a Seki. Anyway, you can see how dangerous it is. It's very, very dangerous. So yeah, that is why this move should be Sente. But I guess maybe it's not. If you're the AI, okay, if you're the AI or stronger than me, don't let it be Sente. But as far as I'm concerned, it's Sente. And as far as like we should be thinking at 10Q, we don't need to be thinking about 1,000-year co at 10Q. Just live. Just live. This move is usually Sente. Okay, and then I just took the Yosei. Yeah. Probably should have been fighting for Sente. Yeah. Oh, this is actually something. Stop fixing with Tiger's Mouth instead of this. This is better. This is much, much, much better. Okay. The reason is, unless you're gonna die. So if we play it this way, right? You're not gonna die. You're completely alive. Yeah, completely alive. I'm brain farting because I'm streaming. Completely alive. Okay. This one is only if you need eyes, if you need the life, if you need the extra eye space. Okay. The reason it's not good though is because that's a co-threat. So why would you give your opponent a co-threat? So this is, they say co-threats, like the 1-point co-threats at the very end of the game that you fight at the very end of the game. They say those 1-point co-threats or 1-point co's is about 1/4 of a point. So you could consider this almost 0 points. A co-threat is almost 0 points, but it's still greater than 0 because it threatens a co. So it's a co-threat, right? So unnecessary co-threat. So maybe this one's not a good example, but then you did it several times. That was annoying. I really didn't want to do that. Like right here, boom. You don't need eyes. Yeah, you don't need eyes right here. So why are you giving me a free co-threat? This actually might be several co-threats. Yeah, there's several co-threats right there. That's a lot of co-threats. instead of just fixing. So that's almost a whole point. The amount of co-threats there is almost a whole point. So that's why that's the difference between Tiger's Mouth and connection. And every time you think about connecting, right? Like when someone peeps you or something, whenever you have to fix a cut, connection is always the best unless you need to do something else or you're doing some other value. Like if you need eyes, if you need to build an influence, right? Connection is the best unless you're doing something in addition to the connection. If you're just fixing it, connection's the best. Okay, so yeah, and then we just played, blah blah blah. This might have been slow, but whatever. And up to this point, it's before I started Yosei, it was even, but at this point, Black's ahead by quite a bit. But White didn't die, so that's really good. Here, yeah, you did make a blunder of the double Atari. So mind your cutting points. Mind your cutting points. This one is not as good as this one because that can be blocked with the Tiger's Mouth, and this cut goes nowhere. So if you read that cutting point, it's actually fine, and this is several points. So this was a mistake as well. This is just me trying to get the Yosei, so yeah. The Yosei was definitely in my favor. So I would say we saw what happened in this game and how I used the Clossi Approach. So let's talk about again the things we need to think about at 15Q to 10Q is why are we not single digit Q? Okay, what is preventing us from single digit Q? So judging just from this game, your Yosei can be improved quite a bit because 20 points in Yosei is a lot. So you're not going to be able to make your Yosei improve by 20 points. That's just unrealistic. That will take a lot of practice. However, you could potentially improve your Yosei by 10. Like in this game, your Yosei probably could have improved by 10 points. Okay. So you can improve that. That's just a matter of fighting for Sente, understanding like how to count Yosei. Yeah. And then just, trying to get your Yosei and not letting me just have all of them. Just fighting for Yosei. And then so no, it was in order to multi-stream to YouTube, I had to make another account because I was affiliated on Clossi's account on Twitch. That did not allow me to stream to YouTube. And technically my target audience is on YouTube. My target audience is double-digit Qs. And I was getting a lot of single-digit Qs. And I want to help single-digit Qs, but I was not reaching many double-digit Qs. So I needed to multi-stream. And to do that, I had to make a new account, so I tried it out, and it's been working quite well. So that's why I did it. Okay, so definitely the Yosei this game. Middle game-wise, I would say most of your shape is pretty good. Probably a little bit of Joseki knowledge, because technically, if I wanted to, I probably could have come in right here and caused you a huge headache. Trying to get rid of affiliate can cause you some long-term trouble down the road if you ever want to get affiliate back, or if you ever apply for it on a different account or something. Anything that is associated with my account on Twitch could potentially have issues because I chose to drop the affiliate. They don't like it very much when you drop it, so because of the potential problems, it just wasn't worth it. So yeah, this is a bit of a problem. And to show some even bigger problems, because I have thickness right here, I have this forcing move. Because I have thickness right here, I have this forcing move. And then I come right here. So you can see there's actually a lot of problems. So this is actually a really bad shape to have in the corner. You don't want two Knights moves. If you want to seal the corner, usually you want one Knights move and a diagonal. Yeah, dropping affiliates bad algae. However, I understand you really wanted to pressure these two stones, but just know that this corner is not all of yours. That's actually a very, very wide corner. So usually this is a very bad shape. Usually, not always, but usually this is not good because there's a ton of invasion algae. Yeah. So there's 3-3, which is the straight up ko. So there's still a ko. Then there's this peeps. There's this move. Just like that. And then if you try that, maybe I can 3-3, maybe I can slide. Maybe I can even threaten and then 3-3 slide. There's also the push and 3-3. There's a lot of things to read in there. So it's just not a good shape. Not usually. A lot of potential in there. So I would say some Joseki knowledge, some opening and Joseki knowledge. Maybe it's time to start learning an opening pattern and studying it. And then Yosei can be improved. And just those two things alone should move you one rank. Like that should increase your win percentage by maybe 10%. And just those alone could potentially move you one rank. Now, this is just from one game, of course. You need to see what problems you have over the span of like 10 to 20 games, and say, okay, what are my biggest issues? I work on that. But this is a good example of like, what am I lacking? And potentially it could just be like one or two small things, because to move one rank is usually just something small, something to be fine-tuned or sharpened. It's moving like 5 ranks from like 15k to 9k. Usually there's a big problem. But to go from like 10k to 9k, usually it's just like one or two small problems. Now, this is just me seeing one game, of course. So yeah. In the lower right area, you always thought, how can I do something you have to respond to? Okay, so how can I do something you have to respond to so I have time to get more shape? That was my struggle there, and I peeped because of it. I thought jumping out is not enough for some reason. Okay, so first off, do you have to do anything? Can you just ignore? I would say probably should do something because there's that connection, right? That's why kick has Aji. But if I was to do something, I think this is more basic. And you can do that. Oh, actually, just that. And that's actually pretty fine. So just jumping is okay. If you're really worried about it, you can just do that. It's pretty slow, but it's very solid. But usually just jumping. And even if I escaped, you have all of these forcing moves. Or you have all of those moves, and you still have space. High space. And you have connection and everything else. There's also this move, which could potentially solve your problem. Maybe not quite. Maybe here. Yeah. So jump should give you the best options for simple stuff. But okay, so this is a single digit Q idea. Okay. You're wanting to say, I want to do better than a jump. I think the jump is just not good enough. Where's some forcing moves so I can do my job better? So you chose a peep. Okay, here's what would make the peep good. If the peep fixed your problem and you got Sente. Okay, and now you got Sente to go somewhere else. Does the peep fix your problem? Kind of. Maybe. Not sure, but maybe. Not sure, but let's assume that it did. That might be good value. Yes, your opponent gets stronger. Yes, there's less Aji for invasions, but you get a free move. You get the next big thing. And the next big thing should give you enough value to make up for the value that you lost. So if you're saying, I want to fix myself in Sente, sometimes playing Aji Keshi for that reason can be good. However, that's more single digit Q idea. Double digit Q idea, just fix. I would say here you could also think to go here. And then you can jump. This would be the most solid fundamental shape, but maybe just that is enough and then you can go play a big move. But there's still this Aji. Like you have a really bad shape because you're right next to thickness and then there's so many options. So this would probably be the best if you're just wanting to fix very solid. But you did lose a lot of value right there. However, it fixes everything, technically. So it's the most efficient defense with no Tanuki. It is probably this one. Yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas. At the end of the day, it's all about reading and flexibility and creativeness. Like, Go is a really big thing about being creative. It's just about understanding what do I want to do what's the best way to do it, and how clever can I be to do it fast but efficient. Like efficient, which means least amount of moves, but does it very effectively. And also, you don't want to give your opponent too much value while you do it. So it's not an easy answer. But I would say not having your weak group next to thickness in the first place is probably your best bet. Good shape from the start. And this is something I've noticed a lot at the higher level.